Depression is a lot like life. If it goes on for long enough, it's guaranteed to end in death. Of these two possibilities, one would likely conclude that my decision to end my life was due to depression, but in reality, this decision was based on the final culmination of the events of my life more than anything else. Depression wasn't the reason for death. It was the symptom of a life plagued with abuse, isolation, repression, regret, and crisis of identity. In your dying moments, your life is supposed to flash before your eyes, but mine had been playing on repeat through my mind the entire day leading up to the big event. I sincerely wish that the cruelties of my life had been the result of my own incompetence, or shyness, or something, because at least then I could have known why. I would have had an answer for why my life ended up the way it did. But no, my life had gone tumbling down the path of self-destruction, not because of any wrongdoing on my end, but because one man made a despicable decision when I was a young child, and it ruined me. As I made the final preparations for my last act on Earth, this was the question that kept pounding my brain over and over again. Why? 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 I wasn't going to be able to live with myself if I died before finding out the answer that stained my life. Why did he do it? All of my life had been subconsciously dedicated to answering this question. In order to cope with my trauma, I developed my own personal NHK, and the conspiracies and the insanity grew more and more in order to make sense of it all. Because surely an organization orchestrating the downfall of humanity through the use of manipulating the media was a far more likely scenario than a man I loved dearly betraying my trust. Betraying the trust of our entire family. Betraying the most basic concepts of human decency. But now, finally, it had all caught up with me, and I understood everything except one thing. Why? And I wasn't about to die without finding out. I would like to request a phone call with inmate 28301-016. This is his nephew.
Jimmy, I can't believe you called. How's it going, buddy? How's Grandma?
Why? Just tell me why. Why did you do it?
I could.
And that was all I needed. There was the answer. The question that had poisoned my life, had driven me crazy, had led to the bloodshed of a childhood friend. Its answer wasn't complex, or contrived, or ridiculous. It was the simplest answer possible. Because he could. My life had been wasted. Alyssa's life had been terminated. His own life had been ruined because he found himself in a position of power and he took advantage of it. With the great question answered, I was now ready to end my life. It had been a stage play of sorrow, misery, anger, trauma, and most unfortunately, of unforgivable murder. And now I was to take my place at the final curtain call. But as I placed the noose around my neck, Alex's words, his answer to my life's question, repeated in my head. Because I could. And suddenly, This became the answer to a new question that had formed in my mind. What would be the reason for me to continue living in spite of the horrors I've faced and the crimes I've committed? The answer: because I could. But then, a new, stronger question entered my mind. Why would I finally take agency in my life and put an end to my suffering, as well as the suffering I've forced upon the world? And the answer, of course, was because I could. And so I did.